Hi, Sally Ann here, and we're going green for this episode because we have St. Patrick's Day this coming week. And it's all about going green with our food, but not in a blender smoothie kind of way. And I'll explain why I really am not a big fan of green smoothies during this podcast. But I do want to share with you 3 simple ways to eat more green foods in a way that is going to nourish you, and you're going to get the vitality and enjoyment from your meals as well, without the stress or the effort. But there's a number of reasons why I want to promote green foods today. That's not to say that the rainbow of plant foods aren't important, but today we're especially focusing on the green spectrum of the rainbow. And green vegetables support our gut health, hormone metabolism, bone strength, cardiovascular health, nervous system regulation, immune function, and cellular repair. So they really are an important part of our meals and snacks as well. Now, I acknowledge that green vegetables might seem boring, perhaps intimidating because you don't know what to do with them in terms of how to cook them or prepare them. But I don't want you to think that they're something that you should eat or something that seems foreign to eat. I had a family member who always talked about green leafy vegetables as being rabbit food. There's nothing wrong with us eating what rabbits eat, especially when they, support us in a really positive way. So I just want to say that green vegetables are here to support us, not to punish us. So my first tip to eat more green vegetables, perhaps all vegetables in general, is that when you think about eating, think about what green vegetable am I going to have with this meal or snack? So I'm really talking about here vegetables complementing our meals, not overtaking the whole meal. So we're not talking about restricting all the other foods. We're just talking about adding in some really valuable colour, flavour and enjoyment, plus all the health benefits we get from green vegetables as well. Now, there's many health benefits of eating green vegetables. I'm not going to go into great detail because I know you can get that information from so many different places. I just really want to pinpoint some things that I believe are really important to consider when we're eating green vegetables. And certainly high fibre is a real benefit of eating green leafy vegetables and also our cruciferous vegetables. So they help with our digestive process, they help with balance our sugar levels, and we know that plant fibre is so important to our gut microbiome, which then impacts our overall health and well-being, our mood, our body weight, and also our immunity. So fibre is a big plus, and it comes in bucketfuls in green leafy vegetables. When it comes to minerals, there's some really key ones here. Folate, you would have heard about before. So that's a really special thing coming from our green leafy vegetables. It's got an important role with our DNA and also cellular repair. Vitamin K is another one that we get from green vegetables, and it comes in abundance in kale and spinach. And a little bit of a tip here, when we cook these green leafy vegetables with a little bit of high quality oil, such as an extra virgin olive oil, then we're helping release that vitamin K and also the other phytonutrients from the vegetable. Vitamin K is important for blood clotting, but it also has an important role helping the calcium and the vitamin D make our bones strong. So important for women approaching perimenopause or even post-menopause as well. Oh, magnesium comes in abundance in our green leafy vegetables. So much better than taking a supplement. I'm not anti-supplements, But magnesium is a supplement that I really do think is overdone because we get so much magnesium from our vegetables. Need magnesium for muscle relaxation, also nervous system relaxation, and it's a great one to help us get a good night's sleep as well. And even though magnesium comes from so many different plant foods, magnesium is a mineral that adults can be a little deficient in. So by adding in some greens and some other vegetables and plant foods, not only are we increasing our magnesium levels, we're going to feel so much healthier and happier as well. Potassium is something else that comes from our green vegetables and many plant foods, but it's such an important electrolyte. It helps with blood pressure regulation, fluid balance, heart function, and it also helps us counteract when we've had too much salt or sodium chloride. The other green vegetables that are so important are our cruciferous vegetables, so things like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage. And I just want to say here that you don't have to eat every green vegetable. I'm not a great fan of Brussels sprouts, so they're not the first thing that I think of when I think of vegetables. However, I have learnt to bake them in the oven and drizzle them with a little balsamic vinegar, and I quite like that. But certainly boiled or steamed, no, I don't do Brussels sprouts. So if you're listening along saying, I don't like all of these vegetables, then you're not alone. But it really is about getting as much variety as we can and trying these vegetables in different ways, as I have learnt with Brussels sprouts as well. And cruciferous vegetables, the research just keeps coming on how they may help us. And in the area of phytonutrients or phytochemicals, which I'm going to talk about soon, just need to read this because the pronunciation is not great, or my pronunciation is not great. The glucinolates that come from cruciferous vegetables have been found to be really beneficial with liver detoxification, may also help reduce that chronic inflammation that's like a fire burning in our system, has been related to many health conditions such as endometriosis, type 2 diabetes, some heart conditions, and also excess weight. These phytonutrients from cruciferous vegetables may also offer us some protection from some cancers and support our estrogen metabolism. So green vegetables definitely get a big tick for women throughout our lifespan really, but definitely around perimenopause and postmenopause as well. And the chlorophyll that gives greens their colour has been shown to be really beneficial for antioxidant activity, detoxification, and supporting our overall cellular health. So deeper the green in colour tends to mean that there's more of these active components in that particular vegetable. We also have carotenoids, and they're found in spinach, kale, and dark greens. So important for our eye health. They may help reduce age-related macular degeneration, and also a great antioxidant as well. Vitamin C, which we've been hearing about for decades, is also found in abundance in our green leafy vegetables. Important for our immune support, collagen production, and iron absorption, especially for those of us who are vegetarian. Having some fruits and vegetables with our meals means that we can access that heme iron from plant sources so much more effectively and efficiently. So just a quick word about phytochemicals or phytonutrients, and I have left a link with this episode's notes in the description because the blog post goes into much more detail about phytonutrients, the different types, where you find them, how you eat them, and how they help you. But there is some emerging evidence on one called carotenoids, and they're found in green vegetables. And it's something that I've actually noticed with my clients as they start increasing the level of green leafy vegetables that they're eating. They actually don't experience intense sugar cravings as much. And there is some emerging evidence that shows that green leafy vegetables, especially kale, and active extracts from these vegetables do help regulate our appetite and reduce our cravings for sugary foods. So it's definitely worth a try alongside all of the other mindful eating strategies that I help my clients use to overcome sugar cravings. So some practical examples of how we can get greens into our foods includes eggs, adding in some mixed herbs, some dill, thyme, oregano. They go wonderfully with an omelette or scrambled eggs. If you're having a sandwich, always think, where's my green coming from? Is it rocket? Is it some mixed salad leaves, some baby spinach, or some cucumber or some capsicum? There's many ways we can actually get the greens into our sandwich. And when I think about greens and many of our Italian herbs, they are so simple to grow. So if you've ever been curious or wanted to start even just a few pots of herbs, then I'd really recommend it. They're the best way to eat them. They're fresh and they're much cheaper as well. So when it comes to your main meal of the day, whether you have that at lunchtime or in the evening, always think about, where is my green vegetable coming from? What would I like to have today? So because it is St. Patrick's Day, we might actually like to start considering that our green vegetables can be like a lucky charm. They make us feel nourished. They're something that may literally make us smile because they do support our mood, and something that we can eat in season as well. Just before I go on to tip 2, I just want to say that if you live alone or you eat out regularly, then a way to add green vegetables or any vegetables in to get variety is just swap them week by week. Don't fill up your refrigerator with vegetables that you cannot eat and they end up in the compost, or perhaps worse, in the rubbish bin. So just swap them. You might have broccoli one week and then you might have cauliflower or cabbage the next week. So rotate through each week the different fresh vegetables that you're putting into your refrigerator and then hopefully into your meals as well. So in my second tip, I'm really talking about steering clear of green smoothies. And I have a few reasons for saying that. And it may seem controversial. You might love, all the images of green, smoothies that we see on Instagram, or the smoothie recipes you get from YouTube. But just because something's popular doesn't mean it's good for you, or I shouldn't even say popular, it's really trending. So I know I'm being a bit controversial here, because smoothie recipes and smoothie videos are always promoting, or the people are always promoting the health benefits of doing this. But because we're putting so many raw foods into the blender, it can be harder to digest these foods. And if we think about how the digestive system actually works, it starts in the mouth. Our chewing in the mouth starts to activate the amylase that's required for carbohydrate in food. And it's also starting to activate the acids in our stomach that are needed to break down the food, and then the enzymes in the large intestine. So if we're drinking food, we're not actually giving our digestive system the kickstart to warn it, hey, there's food coming, we need you to be active and start digesting it. And another way of looking at raw foods is that they're cold, they're harder to digest, so more effort is required to extract the nutrients. Remember earlier I mentioned by adding some olive oil to our cooking of green leafy vegetables, we help extract the vitamin K and also the phytonutrients from that food. We're warming up the food rather than making the body do all the warming up and cooking, if you like, of that food so we can extract the nutrients. There's also research that shows that when we drink food like a smoothie, it's not as satiating as eating the plate of food. So if you think about all the ingredients you might put in a vegetable smoothie or a fruit smoothie, and if you were to eat them in a bowl or on a plate instead, in their whole form, they're much more satiated than having a drink. And smoothies can become quite high in calories as well, because we're adding in lots of different ingredients, and there might be things you add in to sweeten or to thicken, and they contain calories as well. So I'm not saying never have a green smoothie. I really am encouraging you to reflect and, assess how well you feel from drinking green smoothies. As I mentioned, chewing is certainly an important part of our digestive process, and I want you to actually see the difference from eating warm cooked vegetables compared to what you're consuming in a green smoothie, and they're cold, raw, and liquid. So a totally different experience of those potentially same ingredients. So please just reflect. And if you love your green smoothie and it does work for you, then there's nothing wrong with that. But I do get a lot of questions about smoothies. I do get a lot of people coming to me that have digestive problems, and it often relates back to having too many raw foods. And I know it's really confusing. You're just trying to do the best, and it certainly does seem simple. Just put all our vegetables for the day into a smoothie, but our body doesn't actually appreciate it as much as we think it might. So just a little reflection there. Does a green smoothie work for you or not? And my third tip to round off our green episode today, as we head towards St. Patrick's Day, is just sharing 3 simple ways that I get greens into my meals. A spinach omelette is something that I go to for breakfast, lunch, or an evening meal. And it's just so easy. It's so nourishing. It's so satisfying. It certainly does have that satiation factor afterwards, because the greens are being paired with good quality protein. And the greens don't overwhelm your plate. If you're new to adding, baby spinach to cooked foods, just remember that it does wilt down to a very small amount. And I normally say, maybe even a cup and a half as a starting point per person is a great serve. Again, that's why you might consider growing your baby spinach so you can have it on hand. Now, I also have a green stir fry favourite as well, and my core ingredients are kale, asparagus, broccoli, and green beans. And even though I am a great promoter of eating the rainbow of plant foods, sometimes I just feel like eating green foods, so I love my green stir fry. And for flavour, I just use a good quality oil. I may use fresh herbs or spices. I love the combination of chili and basil. That's a real favourite of mine. Might throw in some peanuts with that, or some pine nuts. And I also use a base of ginger. I'm not a great lover of onion. If you are, then add in some onion and leek, and make sure you cook that up first, so you sort of got that through the oil that you're using. Stir fries are a great way to enjoy green leafy vegetables and also your green cruciferous vegetables. And my third favourite meal with green leafy vegetables is more of a summer meal. It's falafels, which are made from both chickpeas and broad beans. So they have a lovely green colour. I buy them from a local shop. I don't make them myself. But then I pair them with salad. It could be a green leafy salad. It could be some tabbouleh. If I've got leftover quinoa or brown rice, then I may use some leftover cooked green vegetables with the grain and have that with my falafels. I also have recipes for salads on the website. So in the link to the blog post on the phytochemicals and phytonutrients article, you'll see that you'll be able to access other blog posts and recipes as well. Greens are best paired with protein, some whole grain, good quality oil such as an extra virgin olive oil, and flavouring. with herbs and spices. And this way you can get a great deal of pleasure from eating your green foods. So just to recap our green episode, whenever you eat, think vegetables. And I know from when I have completed 5 a day, and that's 5 servings of vegetables a day challenges, that I know I need to eat vegetables at least 2 occasions to get 2.5 cups of cooked vegetables in for the day. And just a comparison, if you're having uncooked salad greens or say baby spinach, a cup of leaves is equivalent to half a cup of your cooked vegetable. Be mindful with green smoothies. You might love them, but your digestion might be suffering. So just take a little moment whenever you have a green smoothie to see how it literally is feeling in your body. And most importantly, choose green meals that you genuinely enjoy. I love food. I don't spend a lot of time cooking because I have so many other things I love to do. But if you love to experiment with new recipes, then have a look at the wide variety of Asian recipes that are available. But just take note of how much salt or salty sauces are used in those recipes. That's my only sort of caution there, because we don't need to add so much salt if we're using lovely fresh or dried herbs and spices. So as always, I encourage you to notice what foods support you and be curious about this rather than being focused on what you think you should be eating. Just look to your mind and body for that feedback. And especially for St. Patrick's Day, may the green foods really feature on your plate. May they make your digestion happy and your relationship with food kind and compassionate. So as we're celebrating green foods, just take a moment to think about a green food or a green meal that you really enjoy, and make sure you have that more often, because it obviously gives you the nourishment that you need. I've left the link to my post on phytochemicals or phytonutrients if you're interested in finding out more about those active ingredients in our fruits and vegetables. I've also left the link to the Eating for You, Your Health Hub, and that's where you can also access the blogs, the podcast, the free checklists, and other resources that are there for education and also ongoing support. So I hope you have enjoyed our green episode for St. Patrick's Day, and please share it on your social media pages. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so you don't miss our future episodes.